We all know the late-night hosts don't want Trump back in office, but they each show it in their own ways. Stephen Colbert is covering every rally. Jimmy Kimmel is making a seemingly endless parade of fart puns, and Jimmy Fallon is interviewing Will Ferrell dressed as Ron Burgundy, a character from a movie that came out 20 years ago. At this point, it's less Tom Cruise returning as Maverick and more 70-year-old Bob Denver still wearing the Gilligan hat. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But John Oliver is showing his fear of a second Trump term by doing a 30-minute-long video on it. That's more than twice the length of his hard-hitting segment about the movie Air Bud, and 3 times as long as his segments on octopuses and the Da Vinci Code. So you know he's serious. But Oliver isn't just speculating about what Trump might do.
Trump does have a second-term platform. You can go on his website and see it all laid out, and it is pretty alarming.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put too much stock in that. John Oliver looks like he is easily alarmed. In fact, I asked ChatGPT what are some animals that are easily alarmed, and it gave me a list that looked like an Oliver family reunion. Honestly, not sure which one is him. Here are some other things that are spooking Mr. Oliver.
I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender.
I understand the sentiment, but a serious country also wouldn't have to make a law saying that boys and girls are different. In a serious country, you learn the normal way, by developing a crush on Laura Petrie from The Dick Van Dyke Show. By the way, if you're enjoying the TV references in this video, congratulations on your 80th birthday. Feels like I'm about to do an ad read for walk-in bathtubs. Oliver is also alarmed by Trump's other policy promises.
Trump plans to require local law enforcement agencies to use measures like stop and frisk, cut funding for any school that has a vaccine or mask mandate, and impose a universal tariff of at least 10% on all imports. Trump's also promising mass deportations.
Look, I understand that John Oliver doesn't have to make arguments. He can just read Trump's policies and make an incredulous face, and that's enough. But he really has no idea why these things might be attractive to normal Americans. Then again, we're talking about a guy who is neither normal nor American. But mainly, he's scared that Trump might take the advice of these people.
The 2025 Presidential Transition Project
brings together conservative organizations
to ensure the policy and personnel are in place.
On January 20th, 2025.
Using 4 pillars,
we are laying the foundation
for the next president
to end Washington's bureaucracy and restore American prosperity.
Project 2025 is the brainchild of over 100 conservative and right-wing groups working to shape the staffing decisions and the policy priorities of the next administration. There are a lot of differences between these groups, so I imagine it's hard to get them to work together, but to some degree they have.
They've even produced a 900-page handbook on their goals, which are sweeping. It proposes dismantling NOAA because it's, quote, one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry. It also proposes eliminating the Head Start program, installing a pro-life task force to replace Biden's reproductive health care one, outlines plans to defund the DOJ, dismantle the FBI, and eliminate the Departments of Education and Commerce, and states that pornography should be outlawed and the people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned.
Again, the only argument here is I am afraid, which may not work on you, but it doesn't have to. It just has to work on John Oliver's core audience, men who collect action figures and women who collect master's degrees. Go ahead, John.
And their goal here is clear: to assemble an army of vetted, trained staff who can begin dismantling the administrative state from day one.
Oliver's monologue is designed for people who love bureaucracy. They see long lists of alphabet agencies and it makes them warm and fuzzy. They can sleep soundly at night knowing that the experts are taking care of things. Threatening to dismantle the administrative state is like threatening to take away a 3-year-old's favorite stuffed animal. The only difference is that a 3-year-old won't make a 30-minute segment about why taking away Captain Snugglepuff is a threat to America. They don't have the research staff. But the emotional dynamics are the same. Many of these plans from Project 2025 depend on particular arguments.
A lot of them derive from the so-called unitary executive theory, which was developed during the Reagan years. Its supporters argue that Article 2 of the Constitution gives the president complete control of the executive branch.
We all know the executive branch is an endless maze of bureaucratic organizations totally outside the president's control. Where would they get the idea that the Constitution vests the executive power in the president?
Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America.
Oh. So the Constitution says the government works one way, but it actually works a totally different way. Someone should make a snappy video about that. Oliver is also upset that they want to make it easier to fire federal employees.
There are 2 kinds of federal employees. The first group are merit-based career positions. Workers like that have robust employee protections, meaning they can't be fired for political reasons because their jobs aren't political. The second group consists of political appointees like cabinet secretaries and those under them. They are hired by a new administration to ensure the campaign promises of the new president are being worked on, and they tend to leave when that administration does. There are about 2 million career federal employees and only about 4,000 political ones who change depending on who is in charge.
So there are 2 million federal employees who are essentially unfireable under the current rules, but something called Schedule F would reclassify about 50,000 of them as political appointees, making them easier to fire. And Trump has pledged to reinstate Schedule F on day one of his second term. This would mean that if one of these employees is trying to work against the president, he would have the legal authority to fire them. So here we have John Oliver making an entire segment about how shocked he is that the guy from The Apprentice wants to fire people. But come on, it's his catchphrase. It's like being mad that President Bart Simpson keeps telling people to eat his shorts. As we've discussed here before, quoting the Constitution to these people won't matter. And of course, there are some to whom this kind of thing sounds extreme. But to others, it sounds like not enough. Reclassifying 50,000 out of 2 million federal employees doesn't seem like that much. But it's a step in the right direction. Really, though, it's enough to spook John Oliver, and that's a win in my book. I believe he's the third one.